thinking and dealing with taxes is the worst thing that can happen. Actually, there's one thing which is the worst, which is finding out at the end of the year that you owe tons of money to the government. So let's talk and think about this right now so this doesn't happen to you. Hey everybody, what's up and welcome to another segment of Business Time. I'm Ron, I'm a freelance designer and I have been for the past 15 years and I've got burned a lot from the issue of taxes. I want to share a story of how I got burned with you and talk about how you can avoid that yourself. So basically at the end of 2016, I've discovered that I wasn't paying enough tax for the past 2 years. And I had a huge debt to the authorities here in Israel, which basically meant that during 2017, I had to, on top of, supporting my family and 2 kids, I had to pay a huge debt, had to take a cut kind of to the lifestyle that we were running. It also pushed me to make more money, but basically that was very difficult. And obviously I would avoid that if possible. So let's talk about how this happened. The way that, I assume taxes are run a little bit differently in Israel and in the States or around the world, but basically how that usually works for freelancers whose income, it varies, right? You don't have a fixed income as somebody who gets a salary, so you're not really sure how you're going to pay taxes at the end of the year or what your annual salary is, annual earning or revenue at the end of the year. And basically, usually taxes are paid based on the yearly revenue that you've made. So because you don't know, because it fluctuates, you don't really know how much money you need to save each month to pay. And what happened to me is that my accountant set kind of a very low based on how much money I earned in 2015 or even earlier. He said, I assume you're going to make the same, so you should, let's put this amount that you're probably going to end up paying at the end of the year. What happened was that happily, each year I've earned more and more money, but I didn't put aside more and more money for taxes. And that was my critical mistake. So basically there are 2 critical mistakes here. One, I didn't put enough money, but that happened because I wasn't on top of it. I wasn't following up, maybe not monthly, but at least quarterly, together with my accountant to see where I'm going. What do I project that will happen in the upcoming few months, and see how much money I'm putting aside to save for taxes. So that was, and the reason that I didn't do this might be very familiar with you, is because I hate doing this, right? I hate looking at the spreadsheets. I hate projecting forward and thinking about this and then trying to, divide how much tax we should put or we shouldn't put aside. And obviously, you're always trying to maximize. You're like, I have the money right now, so maybe I can do something else with it. And later this year, we're going to get tax deduction because we have this expense and that expense. And I was trying to be kind of smart with this, but eventually it ended up hurting me big time. Basically what happens right now is I use the opposite way of thinking. Now I'm thinking this year is going to be the best year ever in my life, it's motivating anyway. And I'm going to make much more money than last year. So let's assume that I will be making that much more money. And at the end of the year, assuming that I made so much money, I'm going to have to pay a lot of tax. So I save up this money monthly. It's being taken down from my account. So I don't even see this. And I plan like what I have to live off, or my salary as a freelancer is what's left out of this. And the way that it works in Israel is that you can actually pay your taxes before the end of the year if you want to. And if you paid too much, they're going to give it back to you. And actually, they're going to bring it back to you with a little bit of interest, which is better than the interest that you get in the bank. So it's a bit of like an investment, right? You give them the money. Worst case, they're giving it back to you. But I'd rather be on the safe side of paying too much than get the money later than being on the other way around, where I thought I have this money, I used it to buy things, and then at the end of the year understand that it wasn't really my money, and now I have to bring back some more money after I paid for a certain amount of things. So here's what, again, I suggest that you do. Plan for earning more money, not earning less money or finding expenses to deduct your taxes. Assume take that money away so you don't see it, put it in a saving account, or if it's possible for you to already pay it like I'm doing right now, that might be a good solution. But either way, just hide it from yourself. Don't assume that you have this money, because it's not your money at the end of the day. And for me, one of the things that, just realizing how bad I am with this, and that the fact that I hate it, the fact that I don't want to do this, at the end of the day hurts me because I'm not on top of things. For me, I had to change accountant to somebody who is a little bit more proactive than the one that did not approach me and told me, hey, Ron, you're making more money. Maybe we should put some money aside. And also I asked help from my wife, who's really much more analytic than I am. And she's now looking at this on a monthly basis and making sure that we put enough money aside, just because she's better at this than me. And finding people who, compensate for your weak spots. I do realize that it's a weak spot for me. And if I'm not going to cover my weak spots, I'm not going to be able to, it's going to be limit me forever. And so for me, I'm fortunate enough that my wife can compensate me in that scenario and help me maintain this. But at the end of the day, you need to be on top of it. So either monthly or quarterly, but just make sure that you're not going to find yourself at the end of the year without enough money to pay, putting you in a bigger debt, and that's a bad snowball to have. Fortunately for me, again, as I said, last year was a very successful year business-wise, so I was able to pay the whole debt. I thought that it's going to take me 2 years to pay that debt. I actually ended up paying it in 1 year by opening up some other savings that I had, just because I wanted to remove it and get rid of it as fast as possible. And now I'm on the other extreme, paying as much tax as possible beforehand, hoping to get it back. Now I'm actually, now we're just ending to review 2018, which I think I've paid too much tax. So I'm hoping now to get a bonus. If that bonus comes in, we can party, we can have something, we can do something fun with it, because it's not money that we planned on. But 2017 was a very, very tough year. Hope that doesn't happen to you. If you've got some more questions regarding freelancing and taxes, put them in the comments below, and subscribe for more videos relating to freelancing, design, the business of design. I'll see you on the other videos.